Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank be chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, what we're doing on this cut is a number 1.5 with the grain, a mid to high fade. We're gonna line up my client's beard. We're gonna freehand it, shape it up a little bit, add some enhancements, do what we gotta do to make sure my client leaves the chair looking good. As y'all can see, I did comb out the top of my client's hair, and now I'm combing out my client's beard. I am using the potion. This is one of my boys, it's my boy Sick. It's his product. It's called the potion. Once again guys, really good for detangling hair, and it's good because it also moisturizes the hair and the scalp and the beard area. Basically wherever you use it, it's going to moisturize and condition. So I like to use it on clients that have like thicker curlier beards or thicker curlier hair, because it really helps detangle that and helps like relax the hair. So now that all of my client's hair is combed out, I'm going over the top of my client's head with my number 1 guard, lever all the way open, which makes this a 1.5. And remember guys, I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, being careful, because I don't want to patch my client up. I don't want to make any mistakes. And then when we get to that crown area, we're going to really make sure that we take our time and pay attention to the way the hair is growing. That way we don't patch up that area either. So now I'm taking my clipper, close my lever, which makes this a true number 1 guard. And what I'm doing is I'm debulking that parietal ridge area. That way it makes it a lot easier for me to fade into, instead of worrying about having to fade all the way into that number 1.5 with the grain. I just know that I got to fade into this number 1 guard with the grain. So now I'm setting in my bald guideline with my trimmer, and since I did say we're doing like a mid-high fade, I'm coming right to where the C-cup meets the vertical bar. And since he doesn't have a dominant C-cup, we're gonna go ahead and cut that off. And that's the reason why I say it's like a mid to high fade, because most mid fades I leave the C-cup, but since his isn't dominant, we're gonna go ahead and cut that off. And then I'm gonna have to follow this up with the razor just to make sure this haircut lasts my client a little longer. And once again guys, the closer I get to that initial bald guideline, you want to make sure that you're using a slight flick out motion. You want to make sure you're relieving some pressure. That way it doesn't leave too harsh of a line, and it's easier line to get out when it comes to getting that part of the blend out. So now I'm going in with my clipper, lever all the way open, setting in my next guideline, coming up about 3/4 of an inch or so. And then I'm gonna close my lever halfway, come halfway into the section, and then I'm gonna close my lever all the way and start attacking that bottom line. And this isn't gonna get that line out completely, it's just gonna soften that, but I'm gonna go ahead and touch that up with the trimmer after this to really clean up that part of the blend.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
Now I'm going in with my 1 guard, lever open, setting in my next section, but it's basically kind of gonna blend into the top already. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna close my lever and start attacking the bottom of this section. And doing this with my 1 guard lever closed isn't gonna get this line completely out. I'm gonna have to go back in with my half guard and really clean that up. But as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm doing some slight lever play, just trying to get this section of the blend to look nice and blended before I move on to my half guard. So this is the half guard, and I'm going in with my lever 3/4 of the way open, and then I'm gonna do some lever play, meaning I'm gonna adjust my lever as needed to really get these dark areas to come out and really try to erase that line that y'all see in the middle of this blend. And remember guys, I like to lay my foundation first, do all my steps, and then come back in detail. So that's basically what I'm gonna be doing here. So now I'm using my 1 guard once again, lever closed, just doing some corner blending. And now I'm going with the grain with my 1 guard once again, just making sure all that is down to that length. Half guard, doing some lever play. And this is basically me just detailing my blend now guys. My steps are there, the fade is there. I just gotta detail and clean everything up. This is no guard on my clipper, just doing some lever play, adjusting that lever as needed, using some corner blending to get these areas, these dark areas that I see to come out. And then now I'm going with the grain with no guard on my clipper. And this is just a technique that I like to do on over curly hair. It just really helps leave like a soft blend, and it helps debulk that area a lot. And then I use this raking technique to do the same exact thing. And I just feel that it gives it a nice, like an airbrush look, what I'm saying? So I like to do this on curly hair. I just feel that it works when I'm doing, a bald fade. So now that the blend is basically done, I'm moving on to the lineup. As y'all can see, I started off in the middle of my client's forehead, set in my initial guideline, and started working my way over to the vertical bar. We're gonna hit that vertical bar. We ain't gonna worry about the C cup because, like I said earlier, guys, we cut the C cup off. But then we are gonna line up the beard since I already have the trimmers in my hand. And since I'm on this side of the cut, I like to line up the beard. So we're hitting the back of that beard, trying to get a nice straight line down. And then when we start attacking the top of this beard, we really don't want to push that line down. So we want to be very careful. But at the same time, we want to make sure we're leaving a nice sharp line. So when it comes to doing this part, guys, you want to be careful, but you want to be able to take off just enough hair to where we get the desired look without having to push that line down. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't just confuse y'all with what I said. And then once again, guys, since I'm on this side of the haircut, I'm gonna go ahead and blend the beard in. Now I'm gonna go back into my blend and work on this fade a little more, because y'all know how I feel, guys. When it comes to doing more detail work, I feel you gotta take your eyes off of the blend for a little bit, so I move on to the edge up and then I go back to the blend, and I just did some small detail work, used whatever guards I felt were necessary to get that blend to come together. And now I'm just lining up underneath the bottom part of my client's beard, getting all that off. Clean all that up for him, you know what I'm saying? Trying to, we're just doing what we got to do to make sure the haircut looks good. And I didn't record the opposite side of the cut or the back, but y'all seeing your boy line up, my client. So I'm showing y'all basically how I pick up on this side of the haircut. I start back off in the middle, work my way over to the opposite side, set in, hit that V-bar, hit the back of the beard, line up the beard on top. And I'm doing the same exact thing, just trying to leave a nice sharp line without pushing this beard down. And even though this is an easy cut, it's a 1.5 with the grain, sometimes you can overcomplicate it, and sometimes the easy cuts end up being the harder cuts, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that really makes sense, but I feel like you have to do more detail work when you're blending from a 0 to a 1 opposed to like a 0 to like a 4 or 5. That's just my opinion. But as y'all can see, I did leave this part in there because I want to let y'all know that once I line up my client, I have to go back in detail. So I'm just using whatever guards I feel were necessary to get that blend to come together. And now we're freehanding the beard, shaping it up, giving it a nice shape. And I'm just freehanding this part of the beard, guys. You can put a guard on there, but I like to freehand beards. I feel that it just gives it a nicer look, in my opinion, especially when it's, when they're pretty full and pretty long. So now we're moving on to the razor work. When it comes to razor work, guys, you want to make sure you stretch that skin, stretch it as tight as you can. That way you lessen the chance of nicking your client. Just follow everything you did with your trimmer. Try to come as close to that line as possible without taking any more hair off. And I'm not dry shaving. I did use some shave gel. I've transitioned to using shave gel. I used to use the lather, but I just feel that the shave gel works not necessarily a little better, but I can see what I'm doing a little better. Once again, guys, if you are interested in the tools I was using, y'all saw me using the Rogue from Stylecraft. You can actually go to the Stylecraft website, use my discount code TANK10, save yourself a little bit of money, you know what I'm saying? But we're lining up the front of my client, and now I'm gonna go back in with some enhancements. This is the JV Barber enhancement gun, the hair dye, and the enhancement card, as y'all can see here. And I'm just adding some enhancements to my client trying to make this hairline pop a little more, and I'm gonna double up on my enhancement. So after I add this hair dye, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with some hair fibers and really get this hairline to look a little more sharper, a little more fuller, and just a little more natural when I put them in hair enhancements, or when I put them hair topics, hair fibers, whatever you want to call them. So now I'm gonna hit them with some hairspray, go in with the hair fibers now. And the reason why I put hairspray first is it helps lock it in place, but I'm gonna go back over at the end with some more hairspray to make sure it's really locked in. And as you saw me do right there, that's what I did. And now I'm gonna go back in with my trimmer, reline my client up to get any stray hairs, really get this hairline really sharp. And I know blah blah blah. And I know some people may say that's overkill, like, bro, you're lining up your client a lot. But that's just what I feel I have to do to make sure my hairlines or my edge ups come out super sharp, you know what I'm saying? So I do line up my clients, maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the haircut. And it's what I do to make sure that that hairline is on point, to make sure that the enhancements are on point, and to make sure that that hair fibers are on point. And then what I'm doing here is I'm going over that front hairline with the razor, just getting that line nice and sharp. But check it out, guys. This is how my client came into the shop looking. This is the before look, and this is the after. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if new to my channel, make sure to subscribe one time for your boy. And that's basically it, YouTube. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go. Yeah.